Hi everybody. This is David Skarika, stock chart of the day. I thought I'd just leave that other stock chart up for a bit because it was a detailed video on kind of his trading strategy. It was a lot longer than the typical stock chart of the day, which tends to be 5 to 10 minutes in length. So I thought that it would be good for that to be up for a few days and the whatnot. So we'll get back to the daily shorter charts. So today we're going to look at oil. Oil has seen a pullback, so we're going to ask the question. To me, it looks like things. I know Israel is trying to do an offensive that some people aren't happy with, and I think the U.S. said they stopped shipping some metal, some equipment there, arms there. So, but we've seen oil kind of come back here. Now, granted, it had a pretty good move. This is the oil ETF because they don't update the actual oil price on stock charts till every day. They only start to the end of the day. So, but this shows, it's not really up much today anyhow. So let's go look at oil. It just shows that's an ETF, So you can see that oil kind of, had this move without any real pullback other than a couple small days here and there, from February from 72 to nearly $88 a barrel. It's a big move. It's a $16 move. That's a roughly 25% move. And then you can see it retreated about $10 a barrel, right? So recently we could be making a short-term bottom here, but I think a lot of this move, you can see when the war really escalated here was probably, the Iran attack on Israel, etc., was probably the war premium. Like this move from about 78 to 88 was probably like a bit of a war premium coming into the market. There's a lot of supply still in oil. I know that Russia and the Saudis are kind of restricting supply. And a lot of, they do a lot of price setting, like a minimum price they sell oil, not just on the futures market, but just in general when they do like large sales to countries in Asia and the whatnot. So I just having a sip of my coffee. When we're doing that, we're looking at this here. So, and this premium coming out, but there's still a lot of supply. The other producers are producing a lot around the world, and the number one producer, believe it or not, is now Canada. Now the United States. The United States is now producing, the United States, which went down to about 5 million barrels a day, or 4 million barrels a day, down from its record of about 10 million back in the 60s and 70s. Had gone from that low and from producing just under 8 in 2013 to now almost 13 million barrels a day, and that's with an administration that is not overly, friendly to the energy sector. But the United States is now producing more barrels a day than any country in the world, and we can see that for years the two largest producers were always Russia and Saudi Arabia. We can see in 2013, 14, 15, 16, etc. They would kind of go back and forth. Now, granted, I think the Russia and Saudi Arabia have the ability to produce more than this. They just don't because they kind of, that's their bread and butter, right? That's where they make their money. The United States obviously has tech industries and finance industries and all kinds of other things. So it's not totally dependent on oil. Where Saudi Arabia and Russia, let's face it, essentially that's their number one the thing they produce, number one revenue generator for the government, etc. So they don't go crazy with production because they want to keep the price at a certain level usually. So, but you can see the U.S., after peaking here in 2019 and then coming down in 2020 because of COVID, shutdowns, and then also low oil prices, we've kind of come back, and fracking has continued to get more advanced, and the cost of fracking has continued to kind of come down a little bit. Interesting enough, I just want to show you the Russian numbers here. You can Saudi Arabia, you can see, is cutting their production. Really, they're trying to prop up the oil price, but you can see Russia here has really. What's interesting is the sanctions would have come on about 2022. Note that there's been virtually no change in the Russian production from 2021 to 2023 here, and probably then 2024. So it's interesting that essentially the sanctions have had little to no effect on Russia production, etc. So that's just kind of an interesting note there. But just shows you the United States is now the largest oil producer in the world, and you would assume that if Trump is elected and the Republicans take over, all three branches of the government, that they're going to be even more friendly to energy production, etc. So, like I said, this has happened under a regime which is not that friendly to energy. So, very interesting here. So, I just look at it, and obviously the strategic oil reserve. Again, another reason that was ridiculous that it was depleted like it was, when the U.S. now is producing more barrels per day than any country has ever produced. It just shows you it was totally political. It was totally Biden just trying to keep prices low, for the midterms and into the election. So with that said, with this kind of war premium coming out, and with no more of this strategic oil reserve going to hit the market, and probably no matter who wins the presidency, they will start replenishing it, because either Biden or Trump will not be trying to get reelected in 2028. They both are one-term, second-term presidents, which either, regardless of who wins. So the oil reserve, will be replenished, and that will also bring, just like I brought selling into the market, now it will bring buying into the market. So I am going to leave it at this for now. So what I think is that oil, yes, got overbought. Yes, the oil, a war premium came into oil. Now the oil premium is out. No, maybe because like that was a premium, that $10 from 78 to 88. Maybe that doesn't mean we go straight back up to 88, but probably we could find a place, in the low 80s here, because you'll probably still have a little bit of a war premium. And of course, now we're entering the time when there's demand picks up for oil, the summer driving season, the vacation season, et cetera, et cetera. So that's stock chart of the day for today. And I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you tomorrow.